Good afternoon everybody and welcome to Safari TV. Sorry, we've just been waiting for about 10 minutes with the zebra and now it looks like they've decided to head off. It's always the way. There was a female that was she looks quite pregnant, and she was standing quite close to us, and then she went over to the two who were just in the shade of the tree, and as she caught up with them, she kind of unsettled them a little bit, and then she carried on walking, and then they've obviously decided to follow her. So we'll see if we can go around and catch up with them again. But just to introduce myself quickly, my name's Tara. I'm going to be your guide this afternoon, and I have Patrick again on camera with me.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And we also have Kath in Final Control. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask this afternoon, then you can email them into finalcontrol@safari.tv. So let's go and try and catch up with these zebra before they do dart off for shore. Now, I'm not sure, but maybe it was your calling to them, Patrick. Can you do your impression for everybody?
I didn't know.
Patrick was doing quite a good imitation. Something is definitely, I think there is a stallion sort of pursuing a mare, and I don't think she wants any of it, and it just seems to be sort of putting the others into one of those moods as well. Now, the type of zebra we have here is no longer known as the Birchall zebra. It is the common or plains zebra. The reason being, the people that decide animal names and species have decided in East Africa the Birchall zebra there are different to the ones here. Mostly the shadow stripe on the rump. If one of them helps us out and stops so we can actually get a nice close-up of it, let's see if we can show you. That's where the name changes come from. Now, we do have a zebra under all the tall trees at the back, so we'll see if we can get them. But they've got some warthogs here, which I think, let's see if we can get. Oh, we've got this zebra staying put. Let me see if we can get past this tree, and then hopefully we might be able to get both of them. So it's so nice to see zebra. We haven't really seen them too much lately. I think Jared had them on drive this morning. But if you have a look on the rump there, you can see the black and the white, and then underneath the black stripe you can see a thin brown stripe, and that's just known as the shadow stripe. She's probably watching what's happening with the other two. This was one of the zebras that we were watching. They were actually resting on each other's backs, so they had the head on each other's backs. And they quite often stand like that because they can take the benefit from the tail swishing around each other's nose. Now, this will be probably a small family group, and depending on how successful the male is, I think we counted about 5, didn't we, Patrick? 5 or 6, something like that. So it's probably the one stallion with the females. We haven't seen any youngsters, but it looks like he's a fairly average male. I think he's got about 4, maybe 5 females with him. And the warthogs have just crossed the road in front of us. If I move my head out the way, you might be able to get them. before they run off. I think we've been seeing this female with the 3 piglets here fairly recently this week. And you can see quite nicely the tail in the air, which the other warthogs can follow. I'm just having a look behind us because the zebra also looked behind us, so I don't know if there is something around there. We're going to have a quick look around quarantine. I think if some of you were actually watching earlier on the dam cam, there were some impala snorting, so possibly the leopard are still in the area. So we'll have a quick look before heading down towards Treehouse Dam, but we'll see if we can catch up with some of the leopard. Apparently the boys were left around the dam last night, and there was possibly 1 or 2 tracks around there as well. So we'll head down towards Treehouse, see what's around there. And it's fairly warm, so I'm hoping that if we bypass some of the pans we might bump into some rhino, trying to cool off while it's still quite warm. I can't see where the other zebra have gone, but this zebra doesn't seem to be too phased, so I think they're probably going to be coming back. As I say, you will have this type of zebra having family groups, and if you go up into Kenya, Tanzania, where you've got the Grevy's zebra with the thinner stripes, and they tend to hold territory just like some of the antelope do. They hold territory, fight over territory, and the females will move through that territory. So it's quite interesting that even though you've got an animal that looks very similar, it has a completely different social structure, which I find quite interesting. And obviously down here we also have the mountain zebra, which is down more towards the Cape. There's also a Hartmann's mountain zebra, which is quite a large zebra, quite a large dewlap underneath the neck, which makes it quite distinctive. And actually in each species of zebra there's a different number of chromosomes. And if you do get the zebras trying to interbreed, it won't reproduce a viable offspring because of the difference in chromosomes. You can see being attacked by the flies quite a lot there. Now you may see them mixed in with wildebeest. That's quite a normal combination. And there's a few theories about that combination, but I tend to go for the different parts of the plant that they eat. Zebra possibly making way for the shorter grass for the wildebeest. Zebra being some more bulk feeders because they've got a poor digestive system, so they need to take in more low nutritional food, whereas the wildebeest need higher nutritional food, but obviously not as much of it. So they need to eat the shoots and high value grazing grasses. Some theories say that one has better eyesight, one has better hearing. Could be true, but to be honest, I still think that both have very good eyesight and very good hearing. I say it'll help to increase the numbers to detect predators. And if you look carefully around, when we do have the different herds of animals, you have the wildebeest and the impala mixed in together. I've seen zebra and impala together. I've seen impala and blesbok together, blesbok and wildebeest, 3 or 4 different species together. So I think it's probably a combination of factors. But what the animals eat in regards to the wildebeest and the zebra, because that's quite a normal association. That one works in my head. Okay, we have a question coming in. Oh, hi Alan, welcome on board Jigger this afternoon. And thank you very much for your question. You're asking, has the zebra ever been domesticated and used like we would use a horse? And on the occasion they have been. I have seen people riding zebra. I've seen pictures of people riding zebra, and I keep meaning to try and find out. I forget where I've read it, but there was a king, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a king from the UK who had a pet zebra and rode it. But I've heard that their kidneys are quite high up in the bodies compared to a horse, so it's not very good to try and ride a zebra for that reason. I have also heard that their backs are not as strong. But I've seen pictures of people using zebra to pull carts. I think there was someone also in the UK, I forget where it was now, but he used to use the zebra to ride down to the local pub. So they have been used, but they are quite difficult to domesticate. When I was working at the zoo, the common zebra were a lot more willing to be around humans than the Hartmann's Mountain zebra. They were very, very vicious animals, and the Hartmann's Mountain were quite tall as well, but they would readily try and bite or kick, whereas the common were quite sort of placid in comparison. So I think the temperament also is very, very different to a horse. It looks like she's going to be catching up with the other 2 that ran off. Say the other one looked very, very wide. She looked like she was pregnant. So quite difficult to tell with zebra. Again, because of the poor digestive system, they have quite a lot of gas build-up in their bodies. And when they run, they tend to let it go quite a lot. So they're quite noisy when they run in that regard. But sometimes you can mistake a zebra for being pregnant, and actually they're just bloated from the gas. Oh, the other one did stay put underneath the tree. I didn't see that. Yeah, there goes the pigs. Well, hopefully Mama's going to stay put. Looks like the zebras have gone camera shy. Just when I think we've got them in a shot, they move into the bush. Actually, we've got the other 2 directly up ahead of us.
Yeah, that's a push
I'll
on
see
the
if we
way.
can maybe get a bit closer to them. If anybody can find out which king had a pet zebra, as I say, I remember reading it somewhere and I can't remember for the life of me where I read it. Is that alright for you, Patrick, or do I need to go further forward?
No, that's great.
Is that okay? I just wanted to show you the stance. This is basically what they were doing when we found them. You can see them resting their head on each other's backs, and you can see the tail swishing around where the nose is, so it just helps to relieve the flies around the nose area. Oh, and we've got the hoopoo just in front of us.
Yeah, the Vega's gonna spook it.
Yeah. Oh, just when I thought we were going to get a shot of it. There he goes. Beautiful, beautiful coloured bird. Bright orange with the black and white, and it lifts up the feathers on his head. Again, every zebra has a unique pattern. I've seen some common or plain zebra with more shadow striping on their rump than others, and some I've seen very, very little shadow striping. On some species of zebra, you can see on this one the black goes right down to the belly, and on some species you'll get the white belly and the stripes only starting sort of further up the side of the body. So there are very subtle differences to look for when looking at the different species of zebra.
Stalling.
Alrighty. Oh, there he is. He's just on the ground again. I was hoping he was going to come back. Can you
the
have a
hoopoo.
look at the hoopoo? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, we've got
just
the
gonna
virtual
show you the
starling there.
Yeah, it's beautiful in the sun. Isn't it?
Okay, we have a question coming through. Okay, thank you very much for your question, Kit. And you're asking, is there, or has the zebra got any adaptations to help it over a horse in the wild? And obviously it really does depend on where the animals come from, because remember the horses also came from the wild, and there are still wild horses. We've got the different species across the USA, and I'm just actually forgetting the names of them. I know you've got the wild asses, and I think there was also some in Mongolia, if I can remember rightly, and then you've got I forget what they're called now, but they're very the name escapes me, but obviously you do have the wild horses, and then in those areas obviously they would have been adapted for life there, very arid areas. I think it would have been very harsh areas, so possibly the one colour may have helped them, just like the one colour would help certain species of antelope. But certainly with the zebra, the stripes help them to camouflage against the predators down here. Obviously it disrupts their body pattern, so it's difficult for a predator to maybe isolate one particular zebra from the herd. There's also theories that it could help temperature regulation, with the white reflecting the heat, the black absorbing the heat, possibly setting up a small current to help keep it slightly cooler, quite possibly. The darker stripe has been known to contain a thicker layer of fat underneath it, possibly to help with insulation when it does get very, very cold. So the zebra definitely has some way adapted to the environment, as opposed to the horses, because obviously you don't really find any other horse species down here in Africa. The horse species tended to be further north, so maybe the darker colours up there maybe helped to keep them warmer rather than keep them cooler. But yeah, I forget for the life of me. If anyone in the chat rooms can let me know what the species of horses in the US, I'd really welcome it. I'm sure it was in the US, or I might be completely off the mark with that one. But I know the Arabs were the first ones, I think, to domesticate the horse. Oh, we're back on the warthogs again. There's also thoughts that the pattern on the zebra helps the young to recognise the parent. Again, it's quite a distinct possibility, because obviously down here in Africa they've got the problems with wild dog, leopard, lion, so they have a lot of different predators preying on them. So the baby would possibly need to be able to identify its mother if it ever got lost. But I think they also identify each other with the sight, with the smell, and also with the call as well. Whereas maybe up in Asia they wouldn't have as many predators going after them. I think they probably would have some form of the dog family. I think possibly wolves or something in that area. But I think that side of things I definitely have to look up a little bit more on that one. Is the hoopoe gone? No longer there. Okay. Be nice to see how these piglets do. So when they first emerge from the burrow, they can fit underneath the mother's stomach. They come out very, very tiny. Obviously just seeing the Birchall starling in the shot just before, with the sun catching the colours, the metallic colour in their feathers. And there'll be the layers of keratin in their feathers, reflecting different wavelengths, so bringing out the different metallic colours. There's a lot of different reasoning for the different colours in the birds, from what they eat through to the layers of keratin, or maybe even pockets of keratin, right through to layers of melanin in the feathers. And melanin helps to strengthen feathers, so you find quite a lot of melanin in the flight feathers, because obviously they need to be stronger. I was actually reading quite an interesting article on the Juma blog, and I think Graham said that he saw a warthog actually eating the shell of a tortoise. And that's a new one on me. I've never known warthogs to eat shells. I know that they'll eat meat, especially in the wintertime. That's one behavioural change we might see with the warthogs, that if there's a carcass around, we might see them feeding off of it, and they may go and eat or find rats or mice, small rodents to eat, but they will, for the most part, eat grass and roots and things like that. But I've never heard of them eating a tortoise shell, but he has got photographic evidence of that as well. Have you ever seen that, Patrick?
No.
No, it's a funny
Just
one.
on my head, yeah.
Yeah, same. There you go, you can see the top one in the shot there on its knees. So they'll have quite hard calluses there, especially even when they're born, they'll have hard calluses there. And it just helps them to get to the ground a lot easier. If you see their neck, it's actually quite short, so if they kneel down, they can get to the ground, and they can use their nose as a little digging tool into the ground. As I say, wrongly say the knees, really it's going to be more like the ankle joint in comparison to the bones in our hand or leg. Alrighty, shall we continue on? Unfortunately, the hoopoe seems to have flown off. Okay, we have a question coming through. It could be, yeah, Mustangs, and that's from Jay Coulter. Thank you very much. I think that's the ones that I'm talking about. Couldn't for the life of me remember the names. And then I think it's the Przewalski horses in Mongolia, I think it is. I think that's how you pronounce them, and I was never able to pronounce that one. I think it's Przewalski. Quite endangered horses, I believe. Sorry, I think was there more information, Kath? Of course. Wow. Yeah. Awesome. And that's from JB, is it? Awesome. Thank you very much, JB. Quite a long list of horses. I think you've got Mustang on there, and obviously the painted horses, which is obviously what the one that we see in the movies with the Indian in the old Western movies riding. So of course the painted horses, and obviously they'll have the two-tone there as well. So thank you very much to everybody with that feedback with the horses. So if anybody can find for me about the king on the zebra, that would be really cool as well. Sorry, Kath, is there another question? Oh. Sorry, this is quite a big warthog here. And thanks for your other question, Alan. And you're just asking about if the zebras have been domesticated, did they put shoes on them? I'm not too sure actually. I don't remember being able to see from the pictures that I saw. I probably would have thought they might have tried, just because of using them on the roads. But otherwise, I'm not too sure, hey? I wouldn't like to have been the one to try and put a shoe on the zebra, I must admit. Have we lost the big male warthog? It was quite a nice size, that warthog. Looks like it had a bit of a limp though. And a very nice herd of impala. And obviously we're coming towards the end of the breeding season for impala. But you still get the odd one or two males still trying to assert their authority in the area. But you can see the younger boys creeping back into the herd now, whereas they would not have been tolerated even a couple of weeks ago. But you can see there's the big ram at the back, but then just in the foreground, just to the left of the tree, we've got a young male, or a couple of younger males. As I say, they certainly would have been chased off a couple of weeks ago, that he would not have tolerated them being this close to those females. So we had an April breeding season. So we should be looking for this year's young around probably the mid-November going into December. So it's a fairly early one this year. Gestation period being roughly around 7 months. I'm sure everybody's enjoying the nice warmth from the sun so far. Apparently it was very, very cold this morning. We got quite a nice breeze this afternoon, cooling everything off a little bit. As I say, something's telling me to go down to Treehouse Dam. I'm not too sure why. But so far this week, my feelings have been right. So we'll see how we go with that. So unfortunately, my feelings are sort of correct, maybe 8 out of 10 times. So we'll see how we go. See if we hit it lucky. And obviously, for those of you joining us and not sure about the setup for this afternoon or this evening's game drive, we have been having a few problems with the batteries being charged. So what we're doing this evening, and what we've been doing for the nights that we were supposed to be going on a night drive, when we reach about 5:30, which is when it starts to get dark, We're going to swap over with the night camera and then continue on for about an hour or so, just so we don't drain the batteries down too much, so that we still get a full game drive in the morning, but you still have the experience with the night camera. For those of you who have never seen that before, the difference being with the night camera we don't use the colour, it's sort of a black and white camera, but we use the infrared. So when we see the animal we can swap over into the infrared and hopefully not change its behaviour too much, and get to see the animal with the infrared and observe what it's doing. And obviously if we get lions hunting or leopard hunting, it means we can actually see what they're doing, whereas if you only have the spotlight, you have to turn the spotlight off and just listen to what's going on, because if you shine on either one then you sway the outcome. And obviously we're supposed to be there to observe, not to interfere. This road unfortunately has been a bit too busy, so I'm not getting any tracks from anything. If there is anybody out on drive, I'll just call anybody just in case they are. Good afternoon, all stations, Tara Mobile on Safari. Okay, looks like we have some form of animal movement here. No. All very, very old. And for those of you who are just tuning in, just to let you know what's going on, we've got Patrick on camera with me this afternoon. My name's Tara. I'm going to be with you for the next 3.5 hours now. And we have Kath in final control, so if you'd like to ask any questions, then you just need to email them through to finalcontrol@safari.tv. And the beauty about this is you are seeing it all live. So what we are seeing, you are seeing in real time. So if you'd like to ask a question, we can answer it real time. It doesn't have to be when we find an animal. If there's anything you'd like to ask as we're driving and looking for animals. Brown-hooded kingfisher. Gone. I was hoping it might just sit on the branch through there. I'll say with the woodlands kingfisher migrating, we've been seeing the brown-hooded a lot more recently. It's almost as if with the woodlands being there, they kind of become a little bit more shy about coming out. And the woodlands being a lot more vocal than the brown-hooded. But again, if you want to listen out for them around, you might hear them. But they're one of the kingfishers that don't need to sit around at the dam and wait for fish. They eat the insects and lizards. But if you hear a bird going, you can put the words pity for you to it. Then that'll be the brown-hooded kingfisher. And for those of you trying to follow us on the map, we've just gone through Finneman's Dip and we're now on Weaver's Nest Road. Not great light for tracking in. The best light is when the sun's a little little bit lower in the sky. It casts the shadows onto the tracks. So fairly early on in the morning or later on in the afternoon is your best time. Just trying to get an idea of what's going on. See if there's been any animal movements during the day. So it has been fairly cool, so we may have got more animal movement than what you'd expect during the summer. But it's very, very hot. Okay, we're gonna head down, just have a bit of a detour before we head through to Treehouse Dam. We're gonna head down Cheddar Pan Road and just see if there's anything wallowing in the mud there. I'm hoping, I must admit, that White Cloth might still be in the area, as she has been for the last few days. Quite nice to see her again. And I must admit, we're even starting to see, even now, even after a few short bursts of rain, that the bush is starting to die back quite a lot now. Even from when I first arrived a couple of months ago, I'm definitely seeing a change in the vegetation here. It'll be quite interesting to see how much of a change when Mark comes back. Okay, we have an elephant chew stick in the road. Let me see if I can grab it and show you. I'm just going to grab the branch quickly. Okay. So, an elephant chew stick. It looks like I had two of them. And this one obviously had all the bark taken off of it. And they would put it in the mouth and roll it around on their teeth and take all the bark off of it. For some reason, this branch would have just been ripped off. It doesn't look like much has been eaten from it. Maybe it was in the way. Maybe the elephant just felt like it. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't look like much has been taken from it. Now, I'm going to ask a question and see if anyone knows what this tree might be. Quite a noisy tree. That's quite a big giveaway. It's a fairly common family here. The leadwood is part of the family. So I'm wondering if that will help people. Now, the seeds from this tree will be fairly large. They'll be about this sort of size. And with the family, it'll be the same as the leadwood. So you have the 4 parts to the seed. So is anyone coming with the family at all, Kath?
Tara, while we're waiting for the answer, can you just
Sorry?
show us how the elephant chew the bark off the branch?
Sorry?
While we're waiting for the answer, can you show us how the elephants chew the bark off the branch? Can you put it in your mouth and roll it around in you?
Oh, you want me to put this in my mouth?
Yeah.
Aha! Okay, Patrick. You first.
Not tomorrow. You do it first and see how good you are.
So, here goes. It's alright, Patrick, I'll get you back.
Maybe that's big for you. Too big for your mouth.
Kind of thing. I don't have a trunk. But basically, they would have the trunk wrapped around the branch, and they would chew it around like I was doing, and move their branch around with that trunk. So yeah, that's how an elephant would chew the bark off the branch. So, sorry Kath, I think there was some interference there. Has anyone come back with the family? Oh. Okay, I'm getting quite a lot of interference. Could you copy any of that?
Nothing
No.
at all, yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, for some reason I'm not getting anything through on the radio, but hopefully you've all got through to Cumbriatum, and to me this looks like a large fruited bush willow. Oh. And one of it's quite a noisy leaf when it's dry especially, and on the back, I don't know if Patrick's going to be able to pick it up, but on the back, what I was looking for is these little areas where there's a few hairs, and that's known as domantia, and that's sort of a place where little mites that live on the plant use as their home. And on the large fruited bush willow you will often find the domantias. I don't know if they're coming up too well, but especially here there's quite a nice set there. So Cumbriatum zahiri, the large fruited bush willow. And apparently you can make a mussel rub, if I can remember rightly. If you take the leaf and you mix it with oil, you can use it as a mussel rub. Do you know of any uses for the large fruited bush willow, Patrick? Any other uses?
No, not that I can remember.
No. So that one sticks in my mind quite a lot.
There might be uses, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember there are a couple of other uses, but that one definitely sticks in my mind, just using it as a mussel rub. I just hope I didn't get splinters in my tongue now. Aha! Okay, I think you're back now. Alright. Nobody got it. Oh no! Okay, apparently nobody was able to get to the tree or the family. But as I say, the leadwoods that we have here on the property, we have the russet bush willow, the large fruited bush willow. They're all part of the Cumbriatum family, and they all have very characteristic seed pods with 4 wings, and it's very, very characteristic of that family. Alrighty, I have a question coming through. we might have to try, so I only got parts of that question, so I might have to try when we go a bit further around the corner here. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure why we're having so much interference. We don't usually get this much interference in this area. Ah, that's better. That's better. We'll go again. So I got that. We've got a question from Sean. Okay. Aha. Okay, there was something moving in that tree there. Did you see it?
Which tree?
Straight ahead. There's something moving in there. Okay, thank you very much, Sean, for your question. I'll get to it just now. I just want to have a look what's moving in the tree. I think it may have just been a tree squirrel. I saw something moving.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yes, a squirrel.
Is it a tree squirrel?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's a tree squirrel.
Okay, oh, yeah, it's gone.
Sorry?
I mean, I had it on the picture, but it's gone.
Oh. Well, a tree squirrel seems to be quite happy, so I don't think there's any predators around here at the moment. And no rhino either, unfortunately. So we shall continue on. And as we continue on, I'll be able to answer Sean's question. For those of you who are following us on the map, this is Chelapan here. It's not actually on the map, but if you follow Twin Dams Road from Gowrie Dam, it's the first junction. There's a road that's not named, and it's that junction with that road that leads from Twin Dam to Weaver's Nest Road. So I don't know, did you manage to get the Natal Franklin there?
No.
Oh, he's darting off into the bush now.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you very much, Sean. Welcome on board Jigger this afternoon. And you'd like to know, obviously, the area where you come from in Canada, you've got quite a lot of invasive plants and animals, and wonder if we have the same problem here in Africa, whether it's been intentional or not. And unfortunately, we do. A lot of the reason why invasive species have got into different countries intentionally was because people that moved from one country to another, especially in the olden days, they wanted to feel at home in that country. So they would quite often take species that reminded them of home to that country that they went to live in. So that was one of the reasons why you get different species where there shouldn't be. Also, one of the big problems was when we had the Anglo-Boer War here in South Africa in the early 1900s, late 1800s. Unfortunately, when the British came over to fight the Afrikaans people, they brought horses, and unfortunately the horses need to be fed. So they brought in a lot of feed that would have originated from South America and Spain, and a lot of the seeds from plants from South America were in amongst the horse feed. And unfortunately that's where a lot of the plants, alien invasive plants, came from. So unfortunately, yes, I'll hold my hand up, I am British. Not something I'm proud of at this point in time. But yes, unfortunately, with what happened in the historical times, that's one of the reasons why. And if I can find, I did see one the other day, I'll see if I can find one for you, Sean. A lot of the bushes and trees and things have kind of been a big problem, and places do try and get rid of them. And one of my student pastimes at the Bush Academy was to try and take away the Datura ferox which is the thorny apple. And this plant is quite a potent smell, quite a beautiful flower, but nevertheless it's not supposed to be here. And it's actually being used to wean morphine addicts off of morphine, because it has hyoscine chemicals in it. So they're actually using it in the drug industry, which is and it's being used to send people into different phases of I can't get my words out. It's trances. That's it, different phases of trances. And it was called Malt Pitta or Mad Pips. Just you into a bit of try again.
Afternoon mobile station.
Piercing console.
You do what, sorry?
No, it's the hyena console.
Huh? Hyena? I just saw a hyena.
No, tracks, yeah.
Oh, yeah, hyena.
I'm on quarantine. I just like to sit down around here to come. I'll check for what they do. But if you want to come just
Hi everyone, Catherine in Final Control here. Just to let you know, we're going through a pretty bad signal patch at this point in time. Nothing else is wrong except for the fact that we're just going through some bad signal. So as soon as we're out on the other side of this particular patch, we'll go straight back to the jigger.
Okay guys, welcome back. It's been quite interesting signal break on that road that's not had as much signal break along there as what we have had. But we've just made our way down Elephant School Road to Cam. There was some elephants here, I think they've already moved on. Of the hippos. Alrighty, let me see if I can head back.
Hi everyone, Catherine in Final Control again. For some reason the signal is particularly bad at the moment through this area, which it normally isn't. So I'm not too sure what's going on with the signal at the moment, but hopefully we should be getting onto Gallery Main, which shouldn't be giving us any problems with signal. So I'm going to try and cut back to the jigger again as soon as we can and see if we can get the signal better.
badly. So we're heading down towards Gary, Maine, and then maybe if I may be the whole out just in case there's something there. So we'll go inside today. So Sean, just to come back with your question about the basic. Okay. Okay, is the sound down or is it still up? Okay, well hopefully you guys can hear me. So just to finish off Sean's question, again I'm sorry about the signal breakups. We're going to try and see if we can get a better signal area. So we're going to head east, and if we're still not getting good signal, we're going to be heading back towards Gary Dam and up towards Buffles Hook. So do bear with us. So just to go back to your question, Sean, just to finish it off for you, the alien invasive species we have to try and take out by hand. Many a half hour at Bush Academy was spent taking certain invasive species out, like the Datura ferox, and that was the thorny apple, called Molpita in Afrikaans, and that basically it sends animals as well as people into hallucinogenic trance, and animals will be sort of quite wary to eat it, but if animals do eat it, then it does send them into a bit of a trance, as I say. Hence the name Molpita, mad pips. But it has been used to try and wean people off of more, and it's got hyoscine chemicals in it, so it's another apple in it. Quite interesting for the drug industry. So I know there's been a lot of research done on it. As I say, it is a plant that you find in South America. And I've been looking, as we've been driving, I've been looking for the red stars in it, and that's become a localized weed. Doesn't do anything to the plants, but I've been looking out for it before. I have seen it this last week. I know it still exists. Flower. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Kathy's trying to speak to me, but she's breaking up, so I'm just going to drive past the road, and hopefully, if you guys can hear me, I will. So obviously, Sean, you know about basis, you know that they're not good in an area because they do outcompete plants for nutrition and water quite often. And no, the blue gums that we get here do outcompete quite badly for water. So they can quite often have a negative impact on the species that should really be found here, and that's obviously why there's a problem with with non-native species or non-endemic species, and also they wouldn't have animals eating them, so it also can cause a bit of a problem. People just flew off. Apparently this is where Karula and Whitecloth were left last night. Very, very quiet around here. Whereabouts did you see them, Patrick? They actually at the dam.
They were rather the dam, yeah, itself. And we follow the white lippman people.
Oh, okay. Alright guys, welcome back. Hopefully we'll keep the signal this time. We've just come up back onto Twin Down Road, and now we're on Mamba Road. Hopefully, being higher, we should get a better signal. Unfortunately, not able to go and have a look in the areas I wanted to. Looked like there was some elephant tracks moving off in that direction towards the west, but I don't want to risk trying to look for them and lose the signal, so we'll stay this side and hopefully we'll keep signal. So we'll just follow Mamba Road up and then move up towards Buffalo's Hook Dam with any luck. So thank you very much for your question, Sean. Sorry it was a bit broken, and hopefully you managed to get what I was saying. So I'm still looking out for the Zinnia peruviana, which is the red star zinnia. It may have just died back these last couple of days, but I definitely saw it towards the beginning of last week. Okay, so just for everybody joining us, and just to obviously let you guys know who's who in the zoo. We have myself guiding is Tara, and we have Patrick joining me on camera this afternoon, and also being a tracker by the looks of things. And we have Kath in final control. And unfortunately, with this being live, any technical issues that happen, like the signal breakup, let's say there's days where we get very good signal, and some days like today, for some reason the signal strength is not as good. So we have to obviously just adjust our drives accordingly. So apologies for the signal breakup, and hopefully you'll be with us now without any more problems. Keep your fingers crossed. But as I say, that's the way it goes when it's live. But obviously the upside of it is you guys get to see exactly what goes on. We don't edit anything out, so you often get a chance to see a lot more than what you may see in a documentary. Because the documentary, they try and tell a story, and obviously here we can keep a track of what's happening with the resident animals in the area. But as I say, you get a chance to see them in real time, and what they do you see, and that is the beauty of it. And it also goes to show how much time and effort you have to put into looking for the animals. And it can be that you can drive around and bump into the animals. Sometimes you have to try and track them. But so it really does depend on what's going on, and obviously the different changes of the season. You'll see different animals. So like now we're going into winter, zebras a lot more, and giraffe a lot more. And probably on quarantine is going to get quite a with animals. I'll wager, because it's very close to a fair source. Okay.
Hello everyone, Catherine in Final Control again. Apologies for the signal. We're having some big problems with signal this afternoon. For some reason it's not happy. So we're just going to try and unplug the jigger again and replug it back in and see if that makes any difference. And then Tara is going to start making her way back towards the quarantine area, and we'll try and see what we can see sort of about 1 kilometer to or around the mast. That seems to be where the signal is best at this point. So I think we're going to try and stick to where is good for us. So please stick with us. We should be back in a minute or two, and hopefully everything will come right.
Alright guys, welcome back again. I'm just not going to say anything about the signal now. Hopefully I won't jinx it. I'm still looking out for the flower anyway. And driving, unfortunately I'm driving into the sun. I wasn't trying to drive into the sun this afternoon, but unfortunately we're heading that way now. And just remember, that's one thing about the southern and the northern hemisphere. In the north the sun swings round to the south during the day, and in the south the sun swings round into the north. It's one thing you've always got to remember if you are moving from one hemisphere to the other, and if you forget it, it can confuse you quite a lot, and it did me the first month or so I was here. And I think Peter Bratt was also saying that he had trouble because he went, I can't remember if he went from the north into the south or vice versa, but he had forgotten that piece of information. So he's there following a map, and he didn't have a compass, he said, but he was following the sun. And he started walking in the direction that he thought was right, and actually it turned out to be wrong because of that.
Oh, this is Patalia.
Oh, I forgot. I should really remember that one, because that's where we met
And love.
the elephant that day.
There's another Nkonzo here.
Our wonderful elephant. Hope she's doing okay. I'm sure she is. I have a little tree squirrel in the middle of the road. Quite a nice little rodent. Obviously that's another alien invasive in the UK, all the way from the US. What's quite interesting is it was always thought that the squirrel was out competing for food. I think some recent studies have shown that the grey squirrel carries, I think it's either a virus or a bacteria, and as the squirrel is approaching that area, it kind of gets passed on to the red squirrels, so they're actually starting to die off before the grey squirrel reaches the area. I'm not too sure what the distance is between the two, but apparently there's a marked decrease just before the grey squirrels get there. I forget what it's called now. I think it is a virus. Okay. Alrighty, I think we've got a couple of questions. Okay, welcome aboard Jigger this afternoon, Robert. I hope you're well. From Connecticut. Wow. And I hope you are enjoying so far. And you're one of our new viewers today, and you'd just like to understand sort of the scheme of things. You're asking if this is a private game reserve, and it is. We traverse roughly around 1,000 hectares here in Juma Game Reserve, and I've been trying to find the size of Juma Game Reserve itself. And Juma Game Reserve is somewhere between 7 and 11,000 hectares, and this would have been one of the few farms in this area that make up the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, and that's about 65,000 hectares in total. So there's many different old farms here, and in the 1958 the landowners decided to drop the fences between these farms to allow the animals to be able to move freely between each area. And we found just to the southwest of Kruger National Park, which is obviously a very famous national park. It's probably the most famous in South Africa. And there's no fences between Sabi Sands and Kruger, but people are not allowed to come here and drive around by themselves. They have to have a guide. And between Sabi Sands and Kruger, you're looking at about 2.7 million hectares worth of game reserve. So hopefully that puts it into perspective for you. So yes, we are a private game reserve that we traverse here. And it does also work that we have the different, what they call concessions, the different farms or the different properties will have their own lodges and their own rangers, and depending on who gets on with who, they'll be able to traverse other areas, other lands. But it does depend on who's friendly with who and all that sort of thing.
Stops the giraffe.
Have you
To
seen
your right, left.
Oh, I'm getting blinded here.
No, back.
Huh?
It's a giraffe.
Oh, is it back there?
Yeah. Sun shining our eyes.
Yo, sun's blinding me.
Hey,
big time.
that's Big George.
Ah. How on earth did I miss you, mister? I think I'm probably going to have to sit here. It looks a little bit tall there. Is that okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just gonna
Cool. Nice one. Beautiful bull. Just kind of watching us drive by. It's like, hello, I'm here.
Don't go, giraffe.
Oh, where are you going? It's quite funny because usually they're quite inquisitive and they like to see what's going on. It's quite funny that he's gone and walked behind the bush. Tell you what, let's play him in his own game. See if we can reverse. And just see if we can coax him out again. It looks like he's kind of focused on something.
There's a female way at the back.
Ah, that's why then. How far back? Do you think we can see her?
No, we can't. It's in the thick bushes here.
Alright, okay. Let's just see if he'll come out. I think he might still be able to see us from through the tree. They've got incredible eyesight. Very, very difficult to sneak up on a giraffe. It doesn't look like he's going to play with. It was always thought that giraffes are mute. It's not the case. They do have a voice box. You just don't hear them making sound very often. They snort if there's a predator around, just like a zebra or an impala would do. They do cough as well. Okay, I think, is it open more at the back of that, do you think?
You can try. See the female three there.
Oh yeah, I see her there. No, he was looking off this side.
Oh, was he?
Can you see her any better or not really?
No, just a bum in the tail flicking.
Okay. Let's see if we can try this way around then. Come on, Mr. Giraffe. There's people wanting to see you.
Maybe what we can do, maybe if we can reverse in there to the right and then
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be open here, but it's not. That might be a plan, Patrick. Or not.
if it doesn't move.
Let's see if I can get up here. It's actually not looking as steep as I thought it was. Oh, sorry, mister. No, not interested in playing. There he goes. Cool.
Stop. Let's go forward. There's
Oh, we got a
tree
log.
stump, yeah.
Aha. Thank you for spotting that one. Okay, we have a couple of questions.
Let's go back a bit.
Cool, thank you
Maybe
very
they-
much, Kathy. You're just coming back with some, let's say, a bit more back.
We can try, but there's a little gap there
Oh,
in front. Yeah. It's difficult with listening to the radio and driving at the same time. There.
there. Can you see?
Maybe a
more
little
back.
bit forward.
Forward.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Just between this
Okay.
flaky fall and the bush wheeler. A little bit forward. Just an inch. There we go.
Okay. Cool. So thank you very much, Kathy. You've been doing some research for me, and for everybody else watching, I very much appreciate it. On some more uses of the large fruity bush willow. So see the back one you were talking about was the one that I was explaining about the leaf juice, and you take the leaf and you mix it up with the oil to make a back rub. But you're also saying, and I do remember this about the red bush willow, that the roots can make fishing traps, and probably the bark as well will be able to be used to make fishing traps. And if you can just say the other couple, because I couldn't quite hear them, Kath. That was it. And the wood's very, very good for timber, as is most of the combretums as well, especially like the leadwood. Very, very good firewood. Very long burning usually, and that's seems to be true for most of the combretums. Sorry, Kath, I think I cut you off. And that's it. Cool. So I have to remember those uses as well. And as well as fishing traps, the roots and the bark can be made for, or can be used for baskets. So thank you very much, Kathy, for finding out those uses for us. And that's from Kerry or Terry? Terry. Okay, and welcome aboard this afternoon, Terry, as well. Sorry. Oh, I thought you were trying to get me then. So welcome aboard, Terry. And you're asking, how do the squirrels get to South Africa? These squirrels here are supposed to be here. The tree squirrels. And so these squirrels are found here in South Africa. It was the squirrels I was talking about earlier on with the grey and the red squirrels are the squirrels in the UK, which is where I originate from. So I'm an alien invasive species as well. But yeah, the grey squirrel, I think that was taken back because some of the people that had gone over to the US liked the look of the grey squirrel, so brought it back with them, if I can remember rightly. And of course sometimes animals are taken to other countries to try and relieve problems. Generally pest problems. I think it was there was a certain toad that was taken to stop bugs attacking a certain plant. I forget where it was now. It's a long time since I've used that one, but it was like the crackerjack toad or something, and it was taken to eat the bugs that had been taken over or had taken over this particular area for plants. And unfortunately, instead of eating the bugs, they started eating the native species, so it didn't help the problem and actually caused a greater problem. And unfortunately that's kind of the way it goes. The reason being, these animals had evolved in certain areas for a particular reason. So if you start taking animals from one area and put them in another, it's going to sort of unbalance everything. One of the ones, the fairly successful ones I've heard, is actually with dung beetles, and they were taken over to Australia. I think there was 30,000 of them taken over to Australia to try and clear up the dung problem there from the sheep and the cattle. So there was nothing really to get rid of all the dung. And as far as I understand, that one's been quite successful. Yeah. Hey, there he is. I can see this male giraffe quite dark. Again, that generally is the case for the very dominant bulls. But don't take, if ever you do see giraffes, don't take it for granted that all males are dark and the females are light. I have seen some very, very light males and some very, very dark females. And I don't know if you could hear the oxpeckers flying in, but they've obviously gone to land on the giraffe at the back there. And you can see the white ears very, very well. And obviously with the giraffe's eyesight, they're going to be able to see the other giraffe in the thick bush. And again, just like the warthog tail that we saw earlier, it's a follow me sign. And many animals have Ooh. The cable.
Okay. There's nothing there, man.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Okie dokie.
Okay, looks like they've moved off into the thicker bush, so we'll continue on. So as I say, many animals will have these follow me signs, whether they're markings on their rump or markings on their ears or tail, or utilising their tail, and it's so that the other members of the family or the herd can maybe follow them through the bush. So it'll be the white circle on the waterbuck's rump, the tail in the air from the warthog, the black tip to the tail of the lion for the cubs to follow, the white tip on the leopard. Obviously they will be used for other purposes as well for the cats, but it is one sign. If you see little tiny little cubs following, they fixate on that black tip to the tail. And who was that from?
Mike.
Mike Ward. Thank you very much, Mike. Hope you're enjoying this afternoon, and thank you very much for talking about the Native American Indians. And you say that their bush willow, I'm not too sure if it's the same genus or not. It'd be quite interesting to find out if it's Cumbriatum as well. But you're saying that they use the bush willow as an aspirin. It's actually got the same sort of chemical as an aspirin. That's quite interesting to hear, and obviously if there are Cumbriatums in North America, that's also very interesting. That was something I didn't know. So it'd be quite nice to hear if that's true. But thank you very much for that bit of information, Mike. I'll say some of the do contain very, very useful chemicals. So I'm just picking up some tracks here. I have to just climb out. I'm going to drive over them. Bear with me. I'm just going to have a quick look.
Oh. Touch the cable. Cable.